Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rider Time Podcast here on the Morphin Network. And I'm Mike, your host, and we are here to discuss the one and only episode 42 of Kamen Rider Gavv. At the end of the broken feelings. Give me one quick second right here. I left the TV on. There we go. Yeah, I don't want you guys listening to King of the Hill while I'm playing. But for real though, no, seriously though, thank you so much for coming. And I know it's been a very hot week for a lot of us, and hopefully things will cool down now that it's the evening. And well, let's just say a lot has been going on in the Toku community recently, and it is just great that we can just sit back, unwind, and discuss yet another episode of Kamen Rider Gavv. And boy, the last episode left off on a very interesting note because, wow, we have a traitor in our midst by means of brainwashing, and that's pretty much it, just the means of brainwashing. Yes, unfortunately, our poor, sweet, innocent Hunty was basically brainwashed into becoming an enemy.
Oh, hell no! 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 Oh, hell no!
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, that's a thing. So naturally we have to restrain our poor little Hunty for the time being, meaning he's completely incapacitated. If this was the second arc of the story, I would just roll my eyes at this because there used to be a pattern of just, one of the three riders just being incapacitated for one reason or another, so we could focus on the other two. Like either Vlam is off doing something separate so that we could focus on Shoma and Hunto, or Hunto's incapacitated, so we are focusing on Lakia and Shoma. There were very few instances involving Hanto and Lakia, so yeah, honestly, I think one of the earliest instances was literally just the episode when they were stuck together. But yeah, no, we still have to deal with Niel with his experiment, and the fact that Suga's back as basically a zombie. And, it's time to make some modifications to make more complicated demands. And, well, if you've seen the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, you know where this is going. Leap to our doom. Leap to our doom. Leap to doom. No, that's basically what they're going to go for. And, yeah, Hanto's tied up, and much like he's zombie Dupont. Ada. He just relentlessly wants to attack our two remaining heroes. Lakia comedically tried to splash him with the water, but yeah, that didn't work. So, in a very surprising turn of events, he turned back into his Granude form, which we haven't seen since episode 19. And he just uses one of his tendrils to force Hanto to chill. I'm be honest, back when I used to watch Heroes Season 3, one of my favorite abilities that Sylar has stolen was his own father's ability to sedate his target by whistling. He mostly did it to sedate rabbits in order to taxidermize them. But yeah, no, Sylar turned it into a way to painlessly do his thing that he's most famous for. But imagine how good that would be if you're at an outing. Say you're out at a bar and some other customer is being rambunctious. It could just be, and then down for the count. Or some jerk is causing problems in the college campus. Down for the count. Or Karen is demanding to speak to a manager because they ate an entire steak and still demand a refund. Yeah, that's basically what I would go for if I had this ability, and I would say that's top 10 abilities to have, in my opinion. I know time stopping is like up there on the list because it's the overpowered one, but let's be honest, it's overdone. No, I would love to have retropy powers, but nevertheless, um, I even yell is just like having Suga uses little laser to make everyone just leap to our doom, leap to our doom, leap to our doom, leap to our doom. Oh, we're in trouble. Something's coming down. Let's burst our bubble. Yeah, yeah. And amongst the people targeted is Shoma's uncle, who we still are have this plot point of him not knowing he has a nephew, Shoma not knowing he has a human uncle. But we just know that he's the lovable Candyman because we know that the Candyman can. But no, he's the Candyman's can lead to his doom if Shoma doesn't hop to it. Incidentally, while doing an escort mission for the Hapire, Sachika, after dropping off a client's daughter to karate camp, finds a mysterious cloaked figure. And at first, we're thinking that might be Suga. But it's not. It's Longo.
Oh, hell no! 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 Oh, hell no!
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, it's Longo. And interestingly enough, he dismisses her, but then when she leaves, she's like, why does that guy look familiar? Why does that guy feel familiar? Girl, girl, girl. Way back in the first arc, like 30 episodes ago. 30 episodes ago. No, I'm not hating on her for not recognizing him. It's just, oh man. I completely forgot that she does not know that Longo is, well, Longo. Like Longo didn't do anything during that first visit that he made way back when Sachika encountered him. And yes, I made a lot of boy band jokes about him. And by the way, for anyone wondering, like, why did I make a joke about him having alopecia? Well, his hairstyle, Haiki, reminds me of Hayato Chimonji, and that's the reason why. That's the reason. That's the only reason. He I don't know why, but he Haiki looks like Hayato Chimonji's actor, which is why I made that joke almost a year, well, about 9 months ago. So, but yeah, no, he's still alive. He's now wearing a hoodie because apparently that's all you need to be incognito. I remember when Dente went incognito, he had to wear a face mask. But he's like, oh yes, it's Niel's scheming, or it's the president's, or both. I will make sure to get a good look at it. And yeah, no, Hanto's now having this really weird out-of-body experience where basically has an angel and a devil on him. It's like he has a good side on one end saying, oh, you got to break through the control. You got to break through the control that is being held over you. And then you got the dark side being like, hey, you jerk. You should be killing everyone, including your best friends. Come on, you know that Showa and Laki are both granules, so you should just fight them both. It's like, no, they're your best friends. They saved your life on multiple occasions, and you saved theirs. It's like, come on, you jerk, break free so you can fight them. You know, you're just dealing with the devil, but no one can ever know. And yes, I finally perfected the marble cookie. Yeah. And he's like, no, Suga, Suga. No, come on. You remember, Suga manipulated you from the beginning. You must break free. And it's like, who cares? Just defeat those two guys. But it's Suga. Who cares? It's Suga. And, it's kind of funny because Hanto's entire story began with being manipulated by Suga. And it's kind of interesting that now that Suga's back from the dead, mind you, as a mindless zombie, he's still manipulating Hanto. Even as a zombie, he's manipulating Hanto. That's kind of funny if you really think about it. But of course, he just breaks free because, of course he's got to break free. And of course, everyone's gonna leap to their doom. Leap to our doom. They're running towards the shore. Leap to our doom. Leap to our doom. So Lakia uses his mass sedation ability to incapacitate all of the victims of the mind control, which while the power in itself is technically evil, he used it for good purposes, and I cannot blame him for that. I actually like this turn of events. This is actually really good. And of course, he's addressed by his dead name. He's like, well, Ragyan, I did not think you could use your ability in this way. I'm very impressed. Yeah, it's Niel saying that. And he's like, well, now that I've seen it, I'm here to tell you.
I'm here to tell you right now. We don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Jerry.
Because I got some other experiments to take care of, but thanks for showing me. And of course, the two riders transform into their final forms. Let's be honest, it's not as fun to watch as having all three of them use their final forms together. But, with Hanto just not being around, there's really not much you could do. Of course, they are intercepted by a marble cookie bake, but it is what it is. But what's funny is that the marble cookie is actually one of many forms of marble bread. The concept of marble bread has actually been invented in the 19th century and started out with the French. You take two different types of bread, preferably of different colors, let's say wheat and rye, something that have very distinct colors. And what you would typically do is you would fold the different the different doughs on top of each other, so that when you make the cross sections, it will, or rather, when they bake as a conglomerated stack, kind of like metamorphic rock, the cross section will have a marbled design. But of course, a much more popular variation of this was actually invented by the Jewish community not too long after, where by braiding different colored challah dough, usually regular with chocolate, you would end up having a marble challah, which, by the way, tastes really good. At first, there's two different variations of marbled challah where either you have individual braids, because when you bake braids, they make sort of spherical surfaces where it could break off as an individual roll. You would either have two different types of spheres based on which two breads you used in the roll, or you just completely marble it, and each individual roll will have a marbled cross section. Either way, it's a really interesting concept of baking. It's a very unique feature. I know that most people stick to one kind over another, and depending on the recipes, two different types of dough might not mix together as well as you would like it to. But needless to say, sooner or later, someone figured out a way to, say, use a deleveling agent like butter and instead of making cake, you end up making a marbled cookie. And boy, is making marbled cookies harder than making marbled cake. It's a lot harder, and I will say this: it's partly because of the deleveling agent. Because like when you have that distinction between the two types of bread, they might not smoothly bake together, so you'll have like air pockets where there shouldn't be any, and those air pockets can cause the bread to break. But it is what it is. But but let us know which variation of marbled confection you prefer to consume. But yeah, no, we have a fight scene. Not too much going on in there. We do see one thing in particular that we do see is Niel transforming into his full granite form, which we haven't seen until now, and this makes him the final of the 5 siblings to show their full granite form. And you gotta appreciate the drip on this guy. Like, he is literally dripping his acidic secretions onto the sand, and as he's walking across the secretions, he transforms into what looks like, it kind of looks like a part piranha, part vulture looking thing. Honestly, the vulture heads on his shoulders kind of remind me of Fangires, because Fangires always have some kind of bird motif hidden somewhere in their costume. But he looks very piranha-like. I can't find any confirmation of what specific animal he's based on. I know that the two twins are based more off of cats, while Glotta is more of a squid, and Longo is basically a satyr. But yeah, no, this is very interesting. It's definitely one that stands out the least, but he has a bow and arrow, which we haven't seen in a minute. So we have a sword, a scythe, a knife, a gun, and a bow and arrow. And yeah, but thankfully Hanto does show up to save the day. He's in his frappe form. And so we're basically having a 3v2 duel. And while Niel does seemingly escape, it does look as though we finally defeated Bake. It can't be confirmed, but we did see an explosion where Hanto does use his rider kick. And his laser does get destroyed, which means everyone was snapped out of their brainwashing. And yes, Shoma's uncle is among them, and like it's like, oh, monsters! No, those are the Kamen Riders. Oh, okay. And of course, Niel remarks that the material used for Lakia's shield is very sturdy, and he concludes that very likely the reason why the Riders are superior is because they specifically use gochizas made from the red Gavv. So clearly Niel has his work cut out for him even more so. And so he makes his escape. The episode ends with 2 scenes. First, Shoma's uncle, he looks at a recent blog post involving granudes, because like any sane person, got to do your research. And he's like, oh, this has been going on for 20 years. You don't think my sister, she couldn't have been. Meanwhile, Hanto confronts Sho. It's like, listen, today was a close call, which means that there might not be another chance for you to know about this, but does this woman look familiar to you? He hands him a photo he took of a photograph he's seen, and he's like, "That's my mom. Why do you have a picture of her? I got this photo from the candy maker. It's a photo of his sister who went missing 20 years ago. He is your uncle." End of episode. And of course, Shoma is just like processing this information. And yeah, no, this is really cool stuff right here because we're getting some revelations. We got some character development. Hanto's story, it does feel like it's a little bit repeated. But I don't mind it too much. And yeah, I'm not sure how to feel. I know that in the next episode, President Shaluda comes to the human world, and he'll wear human guise that, if you ask me, resembles Viserys Targaryen from Game of Thrones Season 1. Not a fan of that. Not hating on the actor, but let's be honest, that's who you look like. The choreography doesn't stand out too much other than, oh, it's cool. This dude has a bow and arrow. That's nice. But I think the storytelling was on the forefront of this episode because we got Sachika doing her thing. She has another encounter with Longo. I wonder if there's going to be anything that goes anywhere between her and Longo. And I'm not saying it has to be a romantic thing because honestly, I'm already shipping her with Lakia. But it would be interesting if Longo does do a babyface turn last minute, and Sachika's the one who convinces him. I have noticed that for the most part, it's Sachika who does most of the work in terms of convincing other people to do right by others. That's why she's the goat. Like you know how Sachika makes me feel. But yeah, the revelation about Shoma's favorite candy store owner being his uncle, it's an interesting revelation, but I am curious how this is going to play out because this could either be based on acceptance or rejection. You never know. Yeah, I am hoping next week's episode will be the end for Niel to some capacity, but I have the feeling that it might also not be. I mean, last week I pretty much gave an idea of like what the pacing would likely be like, and I'm not saying they're obligated to follow the pacing guide that I wrote, that I submitted, but it's very neat and tidy and easy to timeline what we have, because given the number of weeks we have left, we can go up to either episode 49 or 50, depending on whether or not we'll have a break between now and September. So, although on the other hand, there's also no certainty that that next season's gonna air on September 7th. It is assumed it would be September 7th because it's always been the first Sunday. I mean, it's typically the first Sunday of September when the new season airs. Usually it falls under Labor Day here in the United States. It's kind of crazy how like Decade aired on Labor Day weekend. W aired on Labor Day weekend. O's aired on Labor Day weekend. And I know this because no, wait, Decade did not air on Labor Day weekend because it was still in February. But Forza, definitely Labor Day weekend, because because I remember my family used to take trips to Big Bear Lake during those 3 consecutive weeks, and every time, I just want to watch the new episode, the new season of Kamen Rider on my PlayStation Portable, because that's the only way I would have access to internet. And the internet was so bad at Big Bear Lake that it would be a struggle just to watch that cold opening before they go into like the opening sponsors. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna wait till I get home and then watch it on YouTube then, or whatever, or whatever other means I would watch Kamen Rider at the time. But the point is, it would like. But on the other hand, some of the late Heisei seasons aired as late as October. So there's really not knowing when exactly a season would air. Maybe we know that Zet's gonna air during September, but it cannot be assumed it's gonna be on the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, or the 28th. But if it is on the 7th, like it typically would be, then we're looking at anywhere between 49 or 50 episodes. If Zets airs on the 14th, then yeah, it could be 50 or 51 episodes, and so on. Again, there could be a break week. I don't know if or when that week will happen, but it could, it may, it might. But that's the timeline we're working with, and now that we finish episode 42, that means we likely have anywhere between 7 or 9 episodes, maybe even 10 episodes. Between 7 to 10 episodes remaining. This is what we're working with. This episode's a 9 out of 10 for me. Not too many complaints. It's just, I just did not care for the fighting towards the end. It wasn't as interesting to me, but everything around it was really good. So, no complaints there. Let's see what you guys have to say about it. Yep, Longo's alive. Yeah, it's surprising. And again, I hope they don't turn him into like a throwaway death. Again, using the timeline of Nyelv dies in episode 33. Nyelv dies in 33. Jeeb dies in 45. Lascelles dies in 47. And then we finally defeat President Shaludik in episode 49. We need to have time for Longo, which means either A, he'll be a throwaway villain, possibly defeated by President Shaludik, and or like he'll just show up out of nowhere in episode 50 if there's a 50th episode, or heck, like if we're being conservative, we could defeat President Shaludik in episode 48, and then Longo becomes final villain in episode 49. Although I highly doubt it. All I know is that we're down to the last 10 episodes, assuming we're stopping at 50. Like episodes 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 through 30, 31 through 40, and then the final period, the final of 5 periods. We're down to our last 10 tops episode. And I'm getting knots, just like trying to figure out like how we're gonna conclude the story, because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 enemies left to fight, and usually they're given 2 episodes to like for us to finish them with. So, and heck, I have a different set of knots involving Zet. Both excitement and anxiety. So, like how this is gonna play out, I'm nervous. I'm super nervous. Ooh. Yeah. Shoma's uncle reveal. Yeah, like I wonder how they're gonna like find out about each other because they're gonna. We just don't know how they're gonna. But yeah, with that in mind, that's it for our discussion of episode 42. If you enjoyed, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, ding the bell icon, stay notified for our latest videos. We are doing Ultraman Omega on Mondays, Kamen Rider Gavv on Wednesdays, number one Sentai Go Juju on Thursdays, and this Sunday we're going to do the last 4 episodes of Kamen Rider 1971. And the following week, we're going to be doing Kamen Rider Ichigo the movie, which is the 45th anniversary film for the Kamen Rider franchise. And when we complete that movie discussion, we're going to spin the wheel to decide what season of Kamen Rider we do next. Out of the next 2 seasons we do will be very easy ones, so that we're definitely going to have enough time left this year to finish one of those 2 seasons. Will we have time to finish the other one? Here's hoping we do, but you never know. But with that in mind, also check out our various other content. We have the interviews with the VR Troopers. We love those guys. We love you guys loving those guys. And check out our sister channel, The Buttery Show, where we discuss various movies and TV shows. And if you want to say hi to us in person, you can say hi to Jake at the High in Chicago, Illinois this weekend for G-Fest, July 11th to the 13th. And you can say hi to me and Ryan at the Burbank Marriott on September 7th, which is the presumed debut day of Kamen Rider Zets on at the Marriott Burbank for ToonCon, where we will be celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Batman. If you want to check out my personal content, please be sure to check me out on Instagram at Buck_Kabuto. And with all that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to stay safe, stay hydrated, update your emergency kits, hug your loved ones. See you again next time. Goodbye.